Okay, well, glad everyone was able to join. Very happy to have you today. Let me share my screen real quick and we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Can anyone help me out? Put into the chat if you guys can see my screen and hear me okay. You're good? All right, cool. So, we have something for you today, a little bit of a learning opportunity. So for you guys who don't know who I am, my name is Kang Deng. I have been selling on Amazon now for about 4 years, over 4 years. And I have built a pretty sizable business with and managing a very small team. It didn't start out that way. I used to be fairly inefficient, and I had to work up to it. But for today, what I'd like to do is introduce you to something called a three-step check. So if you aren't familiar with this, it's a great learning opportunity today, and I want to introduce this to you. And I want to show you how it's done to better protect your test ASINs, but also to show you a much easier and faster way to do it. So we're gonna try to do that and hope we're successful today. All right. All right. So if any of you aren't currently subscribed to 3P Mercury, we're going to talk a little bit about this tool and what it can do for you, not just through a three-step check, but also give you some insight on what it does. So for me, when I was running my business without this tool, it was very inefficient. I had to hire a lot of people, which made my margins really bad. I was losing out on a lot of opportunity that I'll show you today. And so I had to find a way to make my online arbitrage and my wholesale business more efficient and be able to just run this without hiring a horde of people. So that's always the challenge with this business. It's fairly easy when you start up, when you first start up, and when you're opening this business, you're sourcing, you can kind of just do whatever, use whatever. But once you scale a little bit, it becomes quite challenging to keep everything organized, to keep everything efficient. So I started building this tool for myself to manage that process, to get me through the hurdle so I don't have to keep hiring more people. And little by little, I was able to pretty much automate my business with a very small team. I have a team of about 4 VAs and one person that works in the warehouse, and that manages to operate a $3 million a year business. I think as far as industry standards, that's pretty lean. And we're still chugging along at it, right? So hope to increase that even further in the future. So these are a little bit about my numbers. I operate 2 accounts for myself. And they're separated mainly because of the type of products. So one product is a very exclusive wholesale and a little bit of private label. And then the bigger one, this one right here, is operating my online arbitrage account. So I'm actually doing more in online arbitrage than I am with wholesale or private label. So yeah, it's all because of the software. So, if you guys run this business, this spreadsheet that I'm showing you might be very familiar to you. When you start to source a bunch of ASINs, you have to start storing it somewhere. Most people default to like Google Sheets because it's easy to share out and it's free, but it becomes a nightmare, right? It becomes something like this. So you start to save your ASINs and your title and what did you pay for this product? How much am I going to sell it for? And then once you go purchase it, you're gonna start recording how many did I buy, when did I buy it, where did I buy it from, and then if you're doing online arbitrage, and especially if you're receiving it yourself, you're doing your own shipments, then you start to have to like do what I'm doing right here, where I cross it off and saying, okay, I ordered two and received two. But there are events where you don't receive all of it and then you highlight it red, and then put all kinds of notes in there. It becomes crazy, right? And then each one of these tabs is a separate month. When I found those leads and when I purchased those leads, they're all separated by months just to keep it organized, right? Imagine if I didn't do that, it would just be a giant list all in one. Well, I separate it out into tabs. Now, here's the problem is this list, whatever you save to the spreadsheet is just static data. It's just data that doesn't change. So yes, I wanted to list it for $34.89, but how do I know that a bunch of people didn't jump on it and tank the price? Or maybe the price actually went up. How would I know that, right? I would have to go back and manually check every single one of these leads. And it would just take a tremendous amount of time. On top of that, over time, you're building, like each one of these tabs may contain, several hundred leads. If you're sourcing, very, effectively, there might be several hundred leads that I find and purchase in a month. Over time, you would have tens of thousands of leads. Now, if I were really going to be honest and ask you a question, how many of you actually go back and resource these leads, right? Like to be able to resource them, you would have to click on each one of them, go to Amazon.com, pull up the fresh data and say, okay, what's it selling for right now versus before? How many sellers are selling it? What's the landscape looking like, right? It's a complete huge waste of time that most people end up not doing it, right? And myself included, right? I didn't go back and resource tens of thousands of leads that I found over time because it's just too much work. And if I were to hire someone to do it, it would just be too expensive, right? So you end up not doing it. And that's where the huge loss of opportunity comes in, right? So for the topic of the day, I want to introduce you to the three-step check. Now, imagine if I were to do the three-step check manually, okay? I would have to go through the steps in which I'm about to show you and do it one by one for each ASIN, right? And we're going to do that just to see what that's like. But first of all, what is the three-step check? So the three-step check is something that was created by Brian Olson and Robin Joy. And they teach this method to, all of their students, that either is part of the Jim Cockrum coaching. So they do Jim Cockrum coaching. Excellent coaches. If you listen to the podcast, the Silent Sales podcast, you'll know who Brian and Robin are, right? They're fun couple, and they're on probably once a week. So they talk about this a lot, doing the three-step check. And also, if you have the opportunity to go to the Proven Conference this year, they do this every year. They have a workshop, this Path to 100 ASINs. It's an excellent 2-day workshop that they will guide you through their methods of getting to your first 100 ASINs. And it's very in-depth. They'll teach you all the basics and what you need to find it. It's a fantastic workshop. So it's currently open right now at provenamazoncourse.com/100 ASINs. this link down here if anybody's interested, and you guys are going to be at the Proven Conference this year. It is a very limited spots. It fills up very quickly. So if you guys are interested in that, go to the provenamazoncourse.com/100 ASINs and click this button below their video. It's an in-person format, so it is limited in space. And I think it's probably like 80% filled up right now already. So if you're interested, definitely do this. But what they do is they're going to teach you in much more in depth than what I'm going to do today. What I'm going to do is I'm really going to introduce the process and show you how it's done. But they go much above and beyond in just the three-step check. Understanding the three-step check is great, but getting all of the basics around that it's very important as well. Okay, so now in summary, I'm trying to get out as much information as I can in a 1-hour webinar. But in summary, the three-step check is simply this, right? It's velocity. It allows you to, when you're testing an ASIN, you want to make sure that if you make a mistake, that you're able to get in and out quickly, right? So you don't want to test ASINs unless you're really experienced and you have the capital to risk the test. You really want to know that if I make a mistake, can I get out quickly, right? So one indicator of this, if you guys are familiar with Keepa, is Keepa will show you the amount of drops within a 30-day period and 90 and beyond. How many drops that an ASIN is. Now, with a drop, the concept is this: every time the sales rank drops, right? Like every time a product is sold on Amazon, Amazon has this thing called the bestseller rank, right? It ranks products from number 1 being you're the best product in that category to the millions, right? Now you can look at the rank alone, and of course you can look at that alone and tell whether or not it's a good ASIN, but that only applies to the top ranking ASINs, right? But what about the kind of the middle of the road ASINs? Well, Keepa has a thing called drops. What they do is they scrape Amazon like continuously several times a day on almost every ASIN that is on Amazon. .com or in other countries as well, but we're dealing with .com here. So they're scraping ASINs, and every time they notice that there is a sale, or actually every time they notice that there is a BSR drop, that indicates that that product has sold at least once, right? So they're capturing those drops for these ASINs to indicate how many potential sales there are for that product. Now, there's a lot of tools that try to estimate sales and stuff. They're all guessing, okay? Nobody knows how much an ASIN actually sells except for Amazon. They don't release that information out to anyone, but Keepa does a very good job in this, in providing you data where you can kind of guess how quickly an ASIN sells. So that's the concept of a drop. So when you're testing out ASINs, what you want to do is you want to test it on products that have a lot of drops, so that if you make a mistake, you can just cut your losses and get out. You won't be stuck with that inventory. Okay. Second, the second criteria is called capital protection. What this does is it monitors your break-even price. So basically, when you put in your cost into a profit calculator, what it does is it will calculate, or a lot of the calculators will calculate what your break-even sales price will be, so that you can determine, okay, how low can this sales price go before I start to lose money. All right, so that's what the break-even price means. And part of the three-step check is to check to see if on average that this product is selling for above your break-even price, right? So that kind of gives you a better confidence that you are likely to not lose money on this product. Okay. And then the third one is what everybody looks at is your desired profit. Does this product at the current buy box meet your profit criteria? So, most people will go in and put in a minimum profit criteria of, let's say, 30% ROI or 15% gross profit margin. Whatever your flavor is, whether you're a margin or an ROI person, you normally would want to set a benchmark number of some sort. And that way you can quickly determine whether or not this product is, worth your time. All right. So to move on, I am going to now demonstrate the three-step check method and show you examples. We're going to go through it and look at several examples of how to apply this three-step check method in your sourcing. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go to Amazon.com, and I have it already pulled up here. All right, so I'm going to go to Amazon.com and look for some product. Okay. So now this product here, let's say this 6-pack, which probably nobody will make money on. Let's find a different product. Let's pull up like Great Value, something here, and we can start to source. Let's see. I think a good popular product would be what was it? Powder, electrolyte. Let's try one of these electrolyte powders, something like that. Let's take a look at something that looks interesting. Okay, so let's try this Great Value sugar-free thing here. And don't buy this one. You can already tell it's an off-brand. And this is what our, just to give you a little bit of introduction, this is our profit calculator here. And, this is what we provide with 3P Mercury as well, so that you don't have to go buy another profit calculator. You'll be able to do your sourcing with 3P Mercury from start to finish. Okay, so anyways, don't buy this product. Don't go out and buy this product. Okay, it's misbranded, and you can tell right away with our brand field right here. We're just going to use this as an example. So let's say, for instance, you can buy this product for $6, right? Now, with this product, using the three-step check method, okay, you're going to want to look at Keepa and check the three item criteria that we talked about. Now, the velocity, does it meet a 30? In general, what your drop criteria, it's recommended that you have a certain amount, and then everybody is different. You can maybe set the low bar as 20 drops, 30 drops, 40. In general, I'll set mine to like 30 drops to indicate that whether or not a product is going to move. Or I would say that was my bottom threshold in terms of how many drops per month. And to do that, this is the Keepa extension. Now, anybody selling on Amazon, if you're not using Keepa, just don't sell on Amazon. All right, so you need Keepa. A lot of our tools will alleviate that. But in general, you at least need to understand the concept of Keepa and learn this tool very, very well. And a lot of folks may not subscribe to Keepa after they get with 3P because we provide a lot of the data. So, nevertheless, it's much better for you to have a subscription of Keepa so that you can do further analysis. On top of that, Keepa does provide a lot of value in that once you get into like more advanced stuff like product sourcing, Keepa product finder, you're going to need a subscription to do that. Anyway, so how do I know how many drops this ASIN has, right? So with the Keepa Chrome extension, I will point at this statistics button right here, and it will tell me per month how many drops it has. So this one has 22 drops per month. You can also click on this data field right here, and it gives you a lot more data. So the last drops here, 30 days. So they break it up with Keepa, they break it up into 30, 90, 180 days. So you can see how many drops it has, 17 drops, 65, and 139 for a 180-day span. But what we care about is the 30-day, right? So 30 days, does it meet your drop criteria, right? So here it shows you 17 drops. So it's a little bit on the slower end, right? So that's one part of your three-step check. The other part is to look at the average 90-day buy box, right? And the key to this, and that shows right here, the 90-day average is $23.27. The key to this, though, is actually to know what your break-even cost is, or your break-even sales price based off of your cost. So here we're just putting in a $6 buy cost, but what is that in terms of what sales price do you need to sell at to break even? A lot of different calculators will provide that to you, like different profit calculators. And in general, the free ones don't. So if you're using like a free profit calculator, they don't do that for you. So you probably have to use some kind of, I don't know how you're going to do it, but yeah, definitely get a calculator that provides you a break-even price. So that right there, you're going to need the assistance of some tool to help you to determine that 90 days if it meets that criteria. And then the last one is just your ROI, right? Again, you'll need some kind of tool because you'll need some kind of profit calculator to calculate out, to pull out the Amazon fees and the referral fees and whatnot, right? So our profit calculator does all of that, right? So our profit calculator here will let you know that, okay, for a $6 buy cost, all right, your break-even sales price is $11.47. That you need to at least have that to break even. And the drops, it's reporting the same thing that I would have had to scroll all the way down and click the data tab, wait for it to load, and it tells you how many drops in the last 30 days, right? So it tells you, okay, that's 17 drops. That's the same data that we were looking at, right? And then the average sales price for Amazon in the last 90 days, $23.27. So it tells you all of that data for you to do your three-step check, right? So does it meet my three-step check criteria? The drops? No, it does not, right? The break-even price, does it meet that criteria? It seems to be so, right? It seems to meet that criteria. And then the ROI, does it meet my minimum ROI criteria? So let's say your ROI criteria is 30%. Does it meet that criteria or not, right? And in this case, yes, it does, right? So you've passed 2 of your 3-step checks in this process. And this is how you would do this manually. Now, imagine if you were to save this to a spreadsheet, okay? What did we talk about in terms of a spreadsheet? What happens with a spreadsheet? The data doesn't change. It stays the same forever and ever, right? So when you're saving your leads to a spreadsheet, guess what you have to do when you go to go buy it? You know, like maybe you're sourcing one day and then you're saving it to your spreadsheet and then you want to go buy it again. What do you have to do? You're going to have to retest, right? You have to go back to Amazon.com, open this page up, and then check again manually if it still passes your three-step check. Maybe it passed the first time, but it no longer passes by the time you buy it, right? How do you know that? You have to manually do that. So, you know, so it's just doing that three-step check. Now that we understand what it means, it's still a very manual process, right? However, with this Chrome extension with 3P Mercury, okay, looking at it live, I didn't have to do any of that, what I just showed you. Like all of this down here where I would have to scroll down, click the Keepa offers data tab, see how many drops it does, all of that. I can essentially bypass all of that. Why? Is because we have the three-step check built into our profit calculator. So if you look at this pop-up here, when you point at this dot right here, it changes color based on how many of these criteria pass. You know, the three-step check we just talked about, right? So risk is the capital protection that we talked about, right? Does the break-even price meet at least the average 90-day buy box, right? So it's a check right there. It says it's passed, right? The velocity, does it meet my minimum drop criteria of 30? And the way I set that is through these rules. I just click it and I can change these rules anytime I want. So maybe 30 isn't a number that I wanna keep doing. I wanna change it to 40, or maybe I wanna change it down. Maybe I wanna change it down to 20, right? You can make these settings here inside of our calculator, and then the profit is based off of your, you know, your criteria that you set down here is your target profit type and your value. So 30% is my minimum ROI that I even want to entertain something, right? So it does it all for you. It just checks. So if I click on another one, another ASIN, it's just going to tell me green, red, or orange. It also checks for things like transparency code products, restricted brands. So let's say there's a brand that I don't want to sell on. Let's say they routinely file IP complaints. I can log that brand into 3P Mercury. So every time I stumble upon another ASIN, it will flag me immediately that, hey, this does not, this is part of your restricted brands list. And it will tell me or my sourcing team that don't buy anything from this brand, right? It will also check for generics. So any generic brand is going to flag for you. It's going to check whether it's meltable or hazmat. And it will indicate there as well, right? So if it's a meltable product, it's going to show. If it's a hazmat product, it's going to let me know. And whether or not Amazon is selling. So it has all these green check marks to show me that we're all good in these categories, right? So, you know, these colors it changes. So let's say, for instance, I can buy these 6-packs for $15 and all of a sudden you see this is orange, right? It changes right away to show you that, hey, this is not looking quite too good. And you point at it right away and kind of see, okay, it doesn't meet my profit criteria. I'm losing money. My velocity is not even there. The only thing that it's good is that, you know, the average, you know, sales price is you know, it's actually, I shouldn't even pass that. Anyways, so it's not meeting any of my criteria, so it's just it's not good, right? So so it doesn't meet it, and it saves you all of that time from having to analyze all this manually. And you don't have to spend so much time, because the key to this business is to be able to source quickly. You're going to have to look through hundreds and hundreds of leads. You know, sometimes you're on a roll, you'll find something very quickly, but sometimes you're looking through like hundreds of leads before you'll find one good ASIN to test. And the key is, if you can do it quickly, then you can look at more leads, right? If you can look at more leads, your chances of finding ASINs are a lot higher. So if you're able to do this without having to scroll down, click Keepa, look at all the drops, all that stuff, it just does it for you. It's so much better, and you can see so many ASINs and analyze so many more ASINs quickly. And you know, over time, all of that compounds, right? So if in 1 hour I'm able to look at, let's say, 100 ASINs, and my chances of getting a good ASIN is let's say 10%. Well, if I can look at 100, I'm going to find 10 good ASINs, right? But if it takes me an hour to look at 10 ASINs, then I'm only going to find one, right? One good ASIN. So all of this compounds by being more efficient. Okay. Now, once you find this lead, like a lead that you are happy with, then most tools will allow you to save that to a spreadsheet, right? And we, again, like the problem with a spreadsheet is that you're going to, it's static data. You're not going to be able to refresh that automatically. Where with 3P Mercury, okay, I'm just gonna demonstrate this here with 3P Mercury, okay? Each page here is like 100 leads, right? You have a lot of leads to go through. So like, for instance, what I mentioned earlier, if you were to 3-step check each one of these again, you save it to your spreadsheet, you're going to have to open up Amazon.com, click this thing, and then go through the process. Even if you had our calculator that does it for you, you're going to have to still let it load, and it has to run through here. I'm going to have to, what did I pay for this thing? Oh, okay, let's say I paid $5 for this, okay? Did it meet all of my 3-step check criteria? Even with a tool like this, it takes a very long time to go through and recheck every single ASIN. I mean, there's thousands of ASINs here, right? So with 3P Mercury, once you save it through here, first of all of this data here, this Keepa data, is getting updated for you, on a regular basis. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to not have to go to Amazon.com to let the page load up, let the calculator load up, and then Keepa, all that stuff, right? You just saw how long that took, right? For one ASIN, just to go get the latest data. Well, what 3P Mercury does for you is it goes grab that data for you, on a regular basis, so that I can just look at it and tell, okay, 180 days ago, there was 24 sellers. Now there's 20 sellers, right? What is the profit margin? If I were to list it, I can tell right away, this means that the buy box has been lost on this product for the last 30 days. It still has a loss of buy box. And, I can see what the ranks are, and I can see, okay, here's the 30-day drops. It passes my 3-step check criteria. And I can run through that very quickly without having to manually go to the Amazon page and just take forever, right? Now, even better is, what if I can do that to all of my ASINs? What if I can do that for all of my ASINs, right? I can go through that, and I can run a few things, right? So the ROI criteria, right? The profit criteria. I can just say, okay, greater than or equal to 30% ROI, right? That's one of the 3-step checks, right? Where is it? The drops. It meets at least a 30%, a 30 drop, 30 drops per month, right? And then, I'm sorry, I wanted to do the buy box sales price, so you can do that in here, and then essentially run your 3-step check, with filters, and it would just return for you. Let's see, the buy box profit now is greater than or equal to, this is the other one that I wanted to do, the buy box profit now greater than or equal to $0. That means, okay, that means that my break-even price is at least higher than the last 90 days, right? So the last 90-day break-even price is at least $0. Okay, so three-step check. Let's remind ourselves what that means, right? Capital protection, that's this thing right here, right? Does it meet my profit criteria, the third step, right? That's this right here. And then does it meet my drop criteria? That's this right here, right? So if I just hit apply here, all right, I just did my three-step check on thousands of ASINs in less than a second, right? How long would that have taken you to manually go through your spreadsheet and pull up all of that information? It would just take forever, right? This just does it for me. It will pull all of my ASINs that meet my drop criteria, that meets my capital protection criteria. I'm at least break even in the last 90 days, and I at least meet my 30% ROI profit, right? So that's the power of 3P Mercury, is you're able to do all of these things so quickly. You're able to monitor your tens and thousands of leads that you will save over time, and you're able to just do that, right? So really quickly, again, right? Three-step check. Three little filters you got to put in. This one right here, at least break even in 90 days. This ROI percentage meets my profit minimum ROI. And then this drop right here, at least a 30 drop in the last 30 days. Hit apply, and you saw how quickly that returned. It just returned it in like under a second. It scrubbed through, thousands and thousands of leads, right? Now, not only can you do that on your buy list, your list database, but you're able to do that as well inside of your own inventory. So things like, for instance, if you were to, these are products that you have listed in Amazon.com, you've sold these products, you're able to apply those exact same filters to your current inventory, things that you already have purchased. But then it can do even more, right? You can do a whole lot more on this restock page that we teach you on. In fact, once you join 3P Mercury, we have live trainings twice on Mondays, one in the morning and one in the evening, so that fits and pretty much anybody's schedule. And we teach techniques like this, where not only will we teach things like the three-step check, but we teach things like, okay, how do you find products that the seller count is going down, right? So for instance, if I were to go back to my buy list here, and I do this all the time with my current inventory as well, but if I were to go back to my buy list here, we have a filter here that is just out of this world, right? What we say is, tell me out of all of my ASINs where the seller count is less than the seller count right now is less than the last 30 days. Okay, this filter is amazing. Why? Is because it allows you to source products and buy products where the competition is leaving, right? So if I just simply hit apply here, and it's going to tell me, okay, out of these, which ones are the seller counts leaving, right? So if I were to look at this product right here, right, and you were to go through and look at Keepa, right? You're going to go through here and look at Keepa. Look at this, right? Look at this seller count, right? It at some point peaked to about 26 sellers, right? And then now everybody's leaving, right? Why? Because everybody lost money here, right? At some point right here, the buy box got so low that they were selling it for about $34 or something like that, when the peak at some point at the peak was around $60, right? Well, of course, right? And that always happens. The price tanks when the seller count goes up, right? But what happens when the seller count goes down? Of course, the opposite is going to happen, right? So what does this mean? Like if you just look at this trend here, as the seller count goes down, all of a sudden the buy box is going up. You see these orange dots here? That means the price is going up, right? And the more the seller count goes down, the higher the buy box. So look at this. Right now, there's 5 sellers selling this thing at $54. It's almost back to its peak, right? So, and I bet you this guy right here listed for $58. It's basically at its peak, right? So how do you find these opportunities? I do this all the time. So I have so many leads that I've had over the years of sourcing that I've accumulated so many ASINs that this is kind of like my main part of my business where I just monitor these trends. I just run that little simple filter that shows me, just tell me all the ASINs where the sellers are leaving, my competition is leaving. That allows me to price above the buy box, to recover the buy box to where it was, right? And if you sell within this opportunity, you make so much money, right? Your profit margins are much higher. The problem with online arbitrage and people who do, they buy leads lists and they buy tools that feed you ASINs, right? Like tactical arbitrage, for instance. They feed you ASINs. But the problem with that is people buy it at the trough, right? They buy it thinking it's good, but guess what? If there's a tool that that is presenting you ASINs to buy, then all the other people who subscribe to that same tool are going to find that same ASIN, right? So the problem is this happens, right? You find it when it's like 7, 6 sellers, and then by the time you send it into Amazon, now there's 20 people selling it. And then now all of a sudden there's 20, by the time it's checked in and transferred all over the place, now there's 26 people selling it and the price tanks. And then you're like, oh, Amazon doesn't work, FBA, whatever, it's a low margin business, it doesn't work. Well, that's because you're not doing it right, right? You're not doing it right because you're just following the same method that everybody teaches on YouTube or whatever, or trying to go the easy way out and buying a leads list or whatever. And this happens, right? But what if you can do it a smarter way? What if you can actually monitor your ASINs so that you wait it out, right, until the competition leaves, and then you go buy it, and then now you're on this downtrend, and then you're pricing above the buy box. I posted an example in the My Silent Sales Team group, in the Facebook group, where I showed an example, like a perfect example of this, and it was even better. It dwindled down to just me, right? It dwindled the seller count. I was the only one left. I sold 20 units, making like $18 a pop or something like that. I can't remember, but it was high teens, $18 a pop. I sold all 20 units in like 2 days, right? It was completely gone. I wish I had bought more, but that's part of the game, right? You have to determine how many you want to risk. But I could have bought 50 units, 100 units, and I would have been the only one selling on that product and making 200 and like I think it was like 250% ROI, like 40+% margins or something crazy like that, right? So I do that all the time. Like, that's how, when a lot of people ask me what my, overall profit margin is for my business, it's a lot higher than what normal sellers sell for. You hear a lot of sellers, selling 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, and you ask them what their margins are, 10%. Maybe before cashback, or maybe before after cashback, it's 10% gross profit margin. Some people like average around 15%. Fine, whatever. If it's good for them, it's good for them. I'm not bashing their business, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can very much operate an Amazon FBA business in the mid-20s gross profit margins. You can even go to the 30s. The more ASINs you have, the more opportunity you have to do to jump on opportunities like this with a tool like 3P Mercury, right? You saw how easy that was to do. I was able to click that and see, oh, wow, there used to be 20 plus sellers. Now there's only 7. I can do this all day, right? There's 12 sellers. Now there's 3. Oh, what else is left? You know, there's 61 sellers. Now there's 48 sellers. You know, you can do this all day long, right? I can wait for it to go even lower, right? Like it's like, okay, maybe I'm not ready to buy in yet. I can go even lower and see and wait it out, right? So all of these opportunities are presented to me because of this tool. And, you know, I hope you guys will, you know, if you're not already a subscriber, try it out, you know, like just, you know, it's a fantastic tool that helps us keep our margins high and keep things very efficient. And this is the reason why I have most of my VAs focus on sourcing and not administrative tasks, like going back and seeing, you know, like, oh, does this meet my 3-step check? Or let's resource all of our old ASINs and stuff like that. This tool will completely eliminate all that process. You don't have to hire a bunch of people. And then that way you keep your margins high. Not only your gross profit margins high, but your net is high because you're not spending all of that money on overhead, right? That's essentially what I wanted to present today to you is how efficiently and effectively that you can use the 3-step check in 3P Mercury if you're already doing it. And you know, there's so many more things that you can actually do with this than just the 3-step check. Like for instance, the seller count drop. What if I just wanted to find, let's say for instance, a particular supplier, right? What if a supplier is on sale? Let me go and reset this. What if there's a supplier that's doing a 30% off on all your stuff, right? How are you going to find all your ASINs for, let's say for instance, what if Walgreens is on sale, right? I can just click on this supplier and it just returns me all of my Walgreens. Of course, these are fake ASINs on a demo account, but you know, I can find all of my Walgreens products so efficiently, right? So quickly, you know, and then there's a host of tools for this product, you know, and we teach all of it, you know, so that you're not overwhelmed. If you're a new user, feel free to contact us. You know, we do personal onboarding for those who are struggling to learn. What we like to do is shorten the learning curve. So if you need a personal onboard session, feel free to reach out to us and we'll hop on a call. We do, you know, a lot of software will make you do your own homework. Like for instance, like some people, like if you get on a inventory lab or something, you're gonna have to upload all of your old buy cost or you know, another profit analysis tool. You know, you're gonna have to upload your buy cost for it to work. We certainly allow you to do that, and we encourage you to do it because it helps you learn the system. But if you struggle with that kind of thing, reach out to us. You know, just send us your spreadsheet. We'll do it for you, right? So we're very committed to customer service and making sure that you make use of this tool and not just trying to sit here and learn it all day. We really want you to use the tool, and you know, we teach that. That's why we do the live training every Mondays, twice on Mondays. We record all of the sessions for you on there, and you know, we go through that, right? So now, just to go through this. For any of our current, you know, our subscribers to 3P Mercury, a lot of you guys are new, and you're one of the chief complaints is I'm gated in everything, right? I'm gated. I can't sell on anything. Getting ungated, especially in a few categories, your initial categories, is very simple. What we do is we provide for all of our subscribers a couple of bonus contents. One is our ungating guide. With our ungating guide, in there, what we do is we not only show you how to ungate, but we also talk about categories are usually completely open to new sellers so that you can just begin to source in those categories. Now, even though the categories are open, certain brands will still be gated. So it's not completely like just completely open for you to source there. But over time, as you start selling products, Amazon will start to auto ungate you on all of these categories. So don't spend too much money getting ungated, but certainly in the beginning, even when I first started, I got ungated in categories like groceries, pets, pet foods, topical immediately because it just opens a lot of doors for me. It gives me more opportunity to find ASINs so that as I sell them, Amazon will auto ungate me on all the other categories, right? So so we provide a guide for you to get you past that hurdle. And I provide some of the sources of where you can buy products from authorized distributors to get ungated, and as well as having videos. I even have instructional videos inside of the ungating guide so that it walks you through the whole process to make it a lot more clear, because sometimes reading instructions are, it's kind of, hard to follow along. I even created a video inside of the ungating guide for you to help you out there. Okay. Second bonus for our subscribers is that we we a lot of one of the common things that I hear a lot of people who are starting out new, especially with online arbitrage, is where do I even buy things? And sometimes I'm, when they ask me that question, I'm like, it's the internet. Just go out and, it's the internet, right? And like I make it sound like it's simple, but sometimes you just, you have a roadblock, like just you can't think like, well, yeah, I know it's the internet and I can go anywhere, but like it's helpful to have some ideas of where you can buy things. So we provide as another bonus, a list of 300 suppliers, and I'm constantly adding more to this supplier list. So that you just have some idea, right? Like, oh, maybe I can check out 6pm.com and see what they sell, right? And maybe I can start to source from there. It's very helpful. I even include some links in here for some sites that are a little bit less well known. Gives you a lot of ideas of where to potentially source products that kind of help you through that hurdle. And then the last thing is what I'm really excited about is we have a sourcing mastermind that's about to launch on May 21st, 2025, May 21st, in like a week and a half or so, at 5:30 p.m. Central. And what that's going to do, I'm going to run that for 60 days. And I'm going to guide you through, a 60-day course. I'm going to go on once a week. And what we're going to do is we're going to source live together. And I'm going to show you many of my sourcing techniques that I employ in my business, that I train my VAs on. And it will give you a lot of insight on how to find products, how to analyze a product properly, and all of that, right? Many people will charge, thousands of dollars just to do a guided event like this. What we want to do is we want to give that out to all of our subscribers because we want you to be successful. And what we're going to do, we want you to utilize the tool, see how much, like just in this demonstration, you can see how much that calculator helps you source faster, right? Make decisions quicker by not having to read a bunch of data. So many tools out there just make you read data. I have to go here and I have to look at this data set. Oh, I got to click on that and look at that graph. Our mindset is completely different. We want to change the paradigm that, hey, reading data is fine, it's good, but why not just have in this age of automation, why not just have the tool read it for me, right? I set the parameters and you just tell me yes or no, right? So that's the direction that we want to go. And I think our tool is successfully doing that. And so this event, not for sale anywhere, is available to any of our subscribers, right? So if you subscribe before we start on May 21st, and it doesn't matter what plan you're on, if you're on the essential plan or the elite tier, doesn't matter what tier you're on. We're giving it all away for you guys. And it's going to be a great learning opportunity. There's so many people, our subscribers currently, that are jumping at the bits at this, and they're really excited. So yeah, it's completely free. We're not selling this content. We're not, packaging it up and then selling it for, $1,000 or whatever. No, it's just it's going to be completely free for you guys. And I'm super excited to launch that very soon. So if you're not a current subscriber, get yourself a subscription. It's, I mean, just paying for the subscription just to see me source and teach you how to source is probably just worth it, even if you don't use the tool. But that, hopefully you do use the tool and realize that it's a much more advanced way to run this Amazon business. And there's so many things to come. By next week, that same calculator that you see on your what I just showed you on the desktop will be available on mobile. And you can source in the store doing your 3-step check automatically with that little color-coded button in the store, right? You're going to be able to buy the product in the store, take a picture of your receipt, and store it on into 3P Mercury. Something that I didn't even go over today, is receipt management. And we'll probably do a future webinar on the importance of keeping, good record keeping. But, it's going to provide you so much value in just having a tool that does it all, right? Like I run my entire business with 3P Mercury, and I've been doing it for years. And you can get your business to my level. Why not, right? I'm not some super genius. I can do it. If I can do it with this tool, why can't everybody else replicate it with this tool, right? As long as you know how to source properly, which you're going to learn a lot through this sourcing mastermind, and you have the tools to support your analytics. Instead of sitting there and like, okay, I got to read all this data and all that stuff to analyze all my leads, you have such a powerful tool to do all of the analytics for you, right? So, that basically concludes my presentation. I'm going to save a little bit of time to go over some questions here. Let's see. Can you set alerts when one of my list item sellers are getting reduced by some number? Which one can I set? So, Irfan, I hope I'm saying your name right. The filters that I ran in 3P Mercury, you can actually save those filters and run it every day if you like, right? And then when you run that every day, it's going to present you those opportunities. And then once you can sort it by ROI, you can sort it by all kinds of stuff. So it essentially will present you with that data without you having to manually set anything. And just to give you some insight, this is how the current roadmap of 3P is just mind-blowing. So just to give you a little bit of insight, within the next, I think next 2 to 3 months or so, what we're going to launch is an artificial intelligence type of module inside of 3P Mercury, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to automatically provide you a daily action task, right? So let's say, for instance, you will want to, right now, for instance, I employ a virtual assistant to go in every day and check these type of parameters, right? Okay, what do I need to replenish? What are my stale inventory that I need to get rid of? And all of this, by the way, you can run through 3P Mercury and get that data, right? Like stale inventory, like things that are not selling, sitting on the shelf and they're not selling within X number of days, you can set all those. And we teach all of this within 3P Mercury. So anytime you have any kind of questions or something, you can feel free to send us a message. But this is such a powerful tool that we don't want to overwhelm you with the amount of features that it has. So what we want you to do if you're a new seller is to learn the basics. Just learn, from the calculator, saving it to a buy list, running some buy list filters, understanding like what you can do with those filters, creating a purchase order, saving the receipt, maximizing your shipping efficiencies. Like if you're going to ship through Seller Central, Inventory Lab, something like that, this tool really speeds up your shipment process as well. And we want you to learn those basics, but then we also teach the advanced stuff, right? And some of the advanced stuff, it will become even more advanced once we release out our next module. And it's basically going to become your automated virtual assistant, right? Where it will just have on your daily action task, things that you need to take care of, right? Hey, you need to replenish these products. You need to get rid of these products because they're stale and you need to go reprice them down. And here are the list of opportunity buys. Like for instance, you can set your like what Irfan is saying that, hey, tell me all of my opportunity buys, like seller count is dropping down and I want to see those opportunities. All of those will be presented almost like a secretary wrote down a daily action task for you and put it on your desk for you as the CEO to make a decision, right? That part is coming. It's going to be completely revolutionary. Like I don't know one tool that will do this, and 3P Mercury is heading in that direction and it's very close. We're already coding it and it's going to run through the gauntlet of tests to make sure that it works right and it's a good product. But once that happens, yeah, I might have to fire some VAs because it's like it just takes care of all of the replenishment and that kind of thing for you. So it's going to be amazing. Alicia says, what software could this replace? Well, for one, it replaces a profit calculator, right? So if you are already buying a profit calculator of some sort, you get this already included for free. Well, not for free, but included. So you don't have to go buy another profit calculator. It replaces any kind of lead management software. If you know me, I don't like to call out any businesses, so I don't like to like just say, hey, this replaces this particular software. I will very always shy away from saying that, but you get my point if I say this, right? It replaces any kind of lead management software. And then any kind of receipt management software that you may or may not be using. It replaces that. I know a lot of people just store their receipts in Google Drive and that kind of thing, and it's a nightmare to go fetch those receipts once Amazon gives you an IP complaint. Just as quickly as I ran those filters, you can pull your receipt inside of 3P Mercury within seconds. So we didn't have time to go over that, but it replaces a receipt management software, okay? It replaces a restocking forecasting software. So there's a lot of softwares out there where you can see what you need to replenish, how many you sell per month, what's the velocity, all that stuff, right? So you need a software to do that. It replaces that. This thing presents you financial analysis as well. So that you can see on your visibility page, okay, how much did I sell today and how much money did I make? There's a bunch of profit reports in there for you, like what categories are my best categories? What are the return rates for those categories? All of that. So financial analysis, right? It replaces that. Shipping soon, once 3P Mercury we're having on our roadmap to be able to create Amazon shipments. It'll replace that as well. But right now there's a current stopgap in there where it doesn't completely ship for you, but it will speed up your shipping process tremendously by using 3P Mercury. And you can just use Seller Central. I've been doing that lately for my own business. Is I just stopped using a tool like a shipping software that I subscribe to. I stopped using that. I just started using Seller Central, send to FBA or send to Amazon tool, because 3P Mercury can generate out a list of SKUs where you can just take that list and import it into Seller Central, and it just fills everything out for you. It's just so much faster than doing it the manual way. So 3P Mercury can do that for you too. There's just so much to come. We're adding so many things to this software, such as Amazon to Amazon flips. Walmart, we did a soft beta launch for Walmart already, and we're waiting for a couple of things before we fully launch out Walmart. But with Walmart, you're going to be able to do all of this stuff. You're going to have a profit calculator for Walmart. Be able to add leads to your lead management. Run the same filters and similar filters, because Walmart has different data set criteria. But all of that is all in one tool, right? So it's kind of unlike anything out there. And it replaces so many things, and so much more to come. Like it's so much more to come is coming to the software, and surely it's going to get more expensive. So once we release all of these little things out, it's just a no-brainer. You're going to save so much money on overhead costs of not only not having to buy a cocktail of software that doesn't talk to each other, but you're going to be able to hire less people to do these type of things, right? And that's kind of how we started off this presentation. Is like, how much time would it take you to manually do this, right? It just eliminates all of that for you, okay? Uh, One user says, could our VAs attend these classes? I don't mind paying the extra fee for our VAs. If you're a subscriber, you can invite your VA. That's not a problem. We're not charging you anything. So yeah, definitely invite your VAs to it, and it's not a problem. Great hour, learned a ton. Can't wait to play with this around with this. Yes, fantastic. Jules says, during the source of webinars, can you show us how to search Keepa and how to convert the leads to load up to 3P? Yeah, definitely. All these webinars is going to be like a guided event. It's going to be an interactive event too. So it's not just going to be like me recording something and then just letting you watch a recording. We're going to be a very interactive class, and we're going to talk about things. We're going to analyze Keepa. We're going to do a lot of stuff and learning in here, because by the end of this sourcing course, I want you to understand the concept, right? That's the whole key. When you're sourcing, you need to understand the concept so that you can apply it in your sourcing. It's not a 1, 2, 3 step guide. It's okay, why am I doing certain things? Why am I having to think about certain things? So that you can then understand how to source. And then from there, you can branch out like me and then train your VAs on those concepts, right? So that's the whole point of this sourcing mastermind. All right. Some questions like, how do I enter my shipping costs on an ASIN that I fulfill FBM? There's a little thing on the calculator where there's a FBM side of the calculator. You can enter in your FBM shipping costs there. Alicia says, what happens to products after I check them in? Is there an inventory lab style function to keep track of what I have? Yes, 3P Mercury on that restocking page will show you your current inventory level. So everything is connected to Amazon. Once you get on to 3P Mercury and you connect it to your Amazon account, that's when 3P starts pulling in all of your information. So for instance, how much stock you have left, so that it knows how to do, restock analysis, how quickly things are selling. So it'll be able to pull in your order reports, your profit, like how much money did I make on this particular sale? It's going to pull in all of those little fine-grained details. And you'll be able to, analyze all of those things. So when I say it does replace everything, like I run my entire business on this software, I don't need anything else, right? So it provides me everything I need to run a profitable business. I can do profit analysis. I can monitor inventory. I can source. I can do so many things with this tool. And as a new user, a lot of folks get in and they might get overwhelmed, but definitely don't feel like you need to learn everything on your own. That's what these live trainings that I do on Mondays are for. We're always there on Intercom. You can just click it and say, hey, I don't understand this function. Can you help me? Or even we go beyond, above and beyond, and we even do personal onboarding, right? So if you watch our videos and you quite don't get it, or just too much, it's just like it's just too much. Like I can't learn all of that. We actually will meet with you and do personal onboarding and guide you through it and teach you the basics and walk you through the whole thing. I don't know one software that charges what we charge and does personal onboarding. Okay, so looking forward to any one of you guys who want to join with 3P Mercury, and I'm looking forward to serving you soon. But thank you for joining me on this webinar today. I'll probably do a lot more of these type of demonstrations in the near future. So I'll announce it within the My Silent Sales team group. And for sure, when we launch our mobile Chrome extension or mobile profit calculator, I'm definitely going to do a demo of that on a webinar format as well. So, look forward to, any of my posts inside of my silent sales team, or if you're already in 3P Mercury, you'll get announcements from me. And then as far as the sourcing mastermind, we'll post that inside of your bonus content, Jewel. So if you are already a subscriber in the for 3P Mercury, in the menu right now, there is the bonus content where we post the ungating guide and the supplier list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post a sign up link for the mastermind in there. And then I'll make an announcement as well to instruct all of our users on how to sign up for the mastermind, so you guys won't miss out on it. So yeah, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe before May 21st, and we're gonna launch this mastermind, and you're gonna learn so much. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.